Hello everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Kaiserreich against Russia. Let us continue on from where we last left off. So Russia. I think it's going okay. We started work programs. We're putting people to work. We're going to beat Black Monday, okay? That is my promise to every single person who lives in the great state of Russia. We will fix the oppression, okay? It might take a while. It might backfire, but we will do it. The Belgrade Pact. Okay, actually, perfect timing on the urban program here, because now we want to sponsor Belgrade immediately, because we want to actually send Serbia, Romania, and Greece troops so they can kill the Bulgarians, and hopefully we get some allies out of this. Because how long until the war actually begins? Well, I mean, the thing is, within 21 days, the war's not going to be over. Invite Serbia, invite Romania, invite Greece. We can send one more division to Serbia. And then, I guess Greece and Romania, they'd actually choose to accept it. It looks like Serbia's going to happen automatically, though. Which is great. We'll have more friends. I enjoy having friends, and I'm even willing to let Romania keep Bessarabia if it means that they'll be my friend, okay? If they decide not to be my friend, we will invade, but that's a future issue. Land reform in Turkestan. Turkestan, which in Russian refers to the entire Central Asia, has been a destination for Russian excess peasants since the Stolpen reforms. And while migration slowed somewhat over the past decades, it has increased drastically under the SZRS's own land reforms that have gone underway. Since much of the arable land in Turkestan has already been settled by 1910, many of the current settlers are instead decamping around the Kyrgyz steppe. This is drawing the ire of the locals, particularly the Kyrgyz, the Kazakh nomads, who are accusing the settlers of disrupting their traditional migration routes. Even the Cossacks, typically a political arm of the Russian state in the region, have voiced their complaints about the settlers stealing unused land that the Cossacks have kept for their herds. Nor has Turkestan escaped controversy. Though facing fewer settlers, Turkestani villages have been singled out by the government for a similar consolidation and modernization campaign as their Russian counterparts. The tradition from the region's quasi-feudal Klishchiks to the more modern Shurkats have proven controversial for many of the same reasons as it has been in Russia. The peasants dislike consolidating fields and resent the supervision of outsiders. However, the situation is far more volatile in Turkestan, where the locals are claiming with some justification that the Council of Land divisions are overwhelmingly Russian and biased accordingly. Central Asian officials and peasants alike have banded together to demand that local tribunals be established to represent the interests of the indigenous population. There's little doubt that these tribunals will hamper the reform campaign, so several party officials have quietly suggested that the army and Cossacks be mobilized to nip the problem in the bud. Okay, so we either agree to the tribunal, or the Kazakh rebellion grows in strength. Population goes up by 1, we lose 2% stability. They're at 4 right now. Let's just agree to the tribunal. I know it's also going to be a stability hit, but I'm assuming that like once Savinkov actually takes control of Russia, once he does a coup or military overthrow or whatever his actual plan is, we should see a boost in party popularity, which in turn is going to be a boost in stability. So I think it's going to be worthwhile in the long run. Yeah, I know you guys have low supplies. Really not much I can do about that, because you're not my ally right now. Bukhara is. They are still a puppet of ours. I'm not too sure if we'll be able to... They might rebel as well. It's hard to say. So again, we have 130 days till the reform. Popular anger is higher than 2. I mean, it's not worth 100 political power, man. Like, that's so... That is so expensive. I can't realistically afford that, I don't think. A conspiracy to destroy Germany. Surprisingly, a clandestine military meeting took place in Petrograd today, which would have been more in place in 1915 than in 1936. A joint Franco-British military delegation met with General Field Marshal Anton Denikin today in surprisingly positive terms. The delegation was under the leadership of General George Cateau, with Charles Delaurent as his deputy, and Edmund Ironside leading the representation of the British military. One could almost forget about the ideological disagreements in their respective governments as they laid out a strategic plan for the destruction of Germany in a calm, professional manner. Both sides withheld information, no doubt thinking about the possible future conflict if they managed to destroy Germany, but were open enough to agree on sharing relevant military intel and some other matters that would make cooperation easier. After all, both of them are sharing a simple greater goal: the destruction of the German Empire and avenging the peace of 1919. And for these military men, It would be a greater cause than any ideology. The Entente Cordonale is back. Yeah, fuck you, Canada, with your bullshit fake Entente. The new real Entente's here, baby. It's back better than ever. Okay. These have 43 days to be ready to go. We still have to do these army demands, but again, we have time for that. We get like I think I can't afford 50,000 for. I mean, actually, increasing points here to get 50,000 more workers. We can get one of these like smaller events going. I think that could be nice for sure. Okay, so we've sponsored Belgrade, which is nice. Stranglehold of German capital, and let's end the Vilnius agreement. We'll spit on the Germans a little bit for our research slots. It is November, so we can definitely start going down the list. And actually, a lot of these are going to be done very, very soon as well. On American shores. Now piloting a new Sarolfi float plane rather than a single-engine Tupolev from their last flight, Chekhlov and his crew have braved the perilous skies of the Arctic Circle in a marathon 60-hour flight. However, the flight crew did not receive a hero's welcome that they've grown accustomed to upon landing in the sparkling waters outside of San Francisco. The United States Coast Guard and the Navy vessels descended upon their beleaguered aircraft, even as both the Russian crew and radio operators on the shore insistently broadcast their status as a civilian sporting craft. Newspapers from around the globe have now printed photos of smiling Chekhlov, Bereklov, and Belikov being manhandled onto an American destroyer. Apparently unperturbed by the stern events on their record-setting flight, the American Pacific Fleet and the government have both hastily issued apologies, but not before shifting blame for the miscommunication onto one another. You get 15 air experience. Yeah, a new flying ace will not say no to that for sure. Someone sees power in the Ottomans, coup d'etat in Algeria. That's all fine. Oh, it's all fine and good. The radio and artillery are done, so let's go for improved machine tools as well as improved construction. And I'm thinking, how much oil do we actually have, naturally? 16. And Huey Long's been elected president of the United States, so we will see a four-way civil war. And the Enabling Act's actually been passed as well, so Germany's going to become a little bit more reactionary. Which, I don't actually know if that's beneficial or not for our future prospects here. Fuel refining. Let's go one level excavation as well, I think will probably be worthwhile. The Green International Dividend. The dual woes of the economic crisis and the heightening tensions in the Balkans have thrown the Green International into turmoil. The Green International was founded in 1922 as a Middle Europa-aligned peasant movement based on a vision of peaceful peasant democracy. The most prominent backers of the organization have been those of the Habsburg monarchy's various peasant movements. However, the foundation of the Belgrade Pact and its increasingly warlike rhetoric has caused strife within the movement. Alexander Strombosky of the Bulgarian BZNS, alongside a number of Danubian delegates such as Josip Putik from the Galician PSL, requested that the Bureau expel the Serbian and Romanian parties for their support for war against Bulgaria. Putik read aloud the proposal by the PSL, calling for peace between all peasant countries, and instead suggesting denouncing all radicalism within the peasants' movement, strongly supported by the Danubian and many Eastern European delegates. Ivan Kolenskov's counter-proposal, penned by the Russian, Serbian, Romanian, and Latvian delegates, instead called for the peasants to actively resist Juncker rule and painted the current economic crisis as a chance for Europe to move into a third where economics of agrarianism and collaboration between peoples. Klanishkov congratulated the Serbs on their solid stance against German encroachment in the Balkans and offered to arrange negotiations with Strombosky to find a solution that would satisfy all Slavic peasant nations and unify their ranks against the dual threats of Junckerism and communism. Who will win? Green International has fallen to radicalism. International Peasant Organization, the Green International, has a past program proposed primarily by the SZRS-aligned peasant parties. Excellent. Well, that seems beneficial for us. There is a Spanish Civil War. Do we want to get involved in Spain? I know this is a bit of a weird question. I think we do. I think we want to send some troops to CNTFAI. It is a, classic Realpolitik situation, but we don't want Spain to join up with the Germans, obviously. And we don't want the Carlists to align themselves with the Canadians. Even though, of course, they are also national populists. So theoretically, we are more ideologically aligned, potentially, to the Carlists. Even though, they're, what do you call it? They are, It's what Portugal is. Why can I not think of what it's called? Two Sicilies can go this way as well. Either way, they're like Catholic nationalists, which is not really what we're looking for. I think we want to send some troops to CNT. Just because, again, having the internationality stronger is beneficial for our long-term goals. I'm going to send these troops over. Because, again, we want a stronger international because that'll be a better bulwark against the Germans. And I don't see us really going to war against the International in this playthrough. We do have 45, so let's actually increase spending here, which allows us to do one of these cheaper 50,000 events. And hopefully soon we will be able to not be in Black Mine anymore. Okay, our divisions have now arrived. And our main target is going to be the Kingdom of Spain. Because even though, again, I know that the Kingdom of Spain can theoretically be neutral, they're also likely to join up with either the Entente or the Reichspakt, and I don't want any of those to come to pass. So let's send our troops to the south, and we'll push away, I think, towards Gibraltar. I think that seems reasonable for us. Liberals have won in Brazil. That should be fine. The expansion of the wild battalions, the autonomy, and, in many cases, outright lawlessness in the North Caucasus have made the region fertile grounds for militias. Intensifying guerrilla conflict in the Caucasus Mountain have led to an explosive growth among self-defense groups loyal to the Slavonics. Many of these forces are personal retinues of local feudal lords or mullahs, particularly from plebeian groups like the Kumyaks, the Kardabins, the Cherkess, and the Avars. These Muslim units have begun to cooperate closely with their Christian counterparts among the Ostensans and the Cossacks, and have all have gradually come to be known under the umbrella term Wild Battalions. There's little doubt that this is a deliberate reference to the famous Caucasus Wild Division of the German War. That said, many speculate the name is equally intended to appeal to Savinkov's ego. During his time as a war minister under the provisional government, Savinkov has been tasked with transforming the Wild Division into a full-fledged army, a project that has ultimately been derailed by the Civil War. Now that many Wild Battalion commanders are pleading with the federal government to do what the 1917 project failed to achieve. Organizing and expanding the Wild Battalions has widespread support, especially as violence in the region has spilled out over the mountains and into the vulnerable lowlands of the cities. However, many army officers are loath to trust militias of dubious quality and argue that they would serve best as auxiliaries under strict oversight of regular forces. On the other hand, while battalion leaders have insisted on keeping their independence, arguing that excessive army meddling would stifle the mobility and initiative that has made them so effective. Okay, so let's see. One army anger or one population anger? Well, right now they're both at 4. Resistance to go down by 15%. At least somebody likes us arm them. Okay, so the army's a little bit upset. So we do want to try to get them down. More than 60 villages in the state. Pacify you. Lend our support to... anybody? Sure. We'll lend our support to everybody. The Spanish question. A civil war has broken out in Spain between the royal government and the socialist revolutionaries. Immediately, the cause for the Spanish whites has created some excitement and sympathy among patriotic Russians, and the Green Union has already started to organize both donations and possible volunteer force to be sent there. Viktor Laninov, a prominent SZRS member, has already declared in Svobodna, freedom, that is, what is going on in Spain is yet another repeat of Russia's bloody Russian fratricide, and that it would be in our moral duty to help. But in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the situation is more complex. If one looks at Europe as a board of chess between a Germanic world and their enemies, then the defeat of the Spanish Revolution would only put Spain back into the arms of the Germans, something the French government in Paris is keenly aware of. In a clandestine meeting between our foreign minister and the French ambassador, a secret deal was proposed. Russia would remain neutral in the Spanish affair and block any attempts by Russian citizens to go to fight in Spain, unless it is for the revolutionary cause. Spain would thus be considered part of the French sphere of influence. In return, the French promised to withdraw the funding of socialist movements in Russia and Eastern Europe for the time being. I don't know, to me that sounds like a pretty good deal. So let's see. Manpower goes down. We get more support for the car list. Spain will be considered to be in the French sphere for now. 50 political power, less support for the party. But I mean, I want the 50 political power. For sure. And we've already sent troops to CNT, so it just makes more sense. We could not begin to influence Poland. But that doesn't seem like a great use for my political power. I'll be honest. So what I'm thinking of doing, we're going to finish up with our final roadworks in the Russian north. And I think that seems reasonable. Oh, I didn't actually work. Okay. Our troops have now arrived in the south. You know, actually, we probably should also send them aircraft, huh? Again, we're not going to send, like, too much. Get our planes. Fantastic. And let's send... just, you know... I mean, fighters are fine, I think. Let's send them over here. We'll cover our forces in southern Iberia. And we have some more events here as well. Planes have now arrived. How bad is air support? 157. Okay, so it's about even. Food exports from Romania. Romania, like most of Europe outside the Syndicalist nations, has been significantly hit by the economic crisis caused by Black Monday. In order to alleviate the situation, the Romanian representative in Russia has approached us to negotiate a new treaty that would mean giving them preferential tariffs for their agricultural goods and oil, and vice versa for our finished industrial goods. I think we just go for more trade is always good. I have no reason to fight with the Romanians right now. I want to be their friends long term. And the Russian government freezes the Vilnius Accords. The short period of the post-Russian Civil War recovery was cut short by the global economic crisis in 1925. And the only place we could go for credit was our old enemy in Berlin. In 1926, the Faustian bargain was struck with Germany in the shape of the German-Russian trade and credit agreement. The price? Golden shackles by Rheinmetall. The Russian economy grew, yes, but it grew unfairly, unequally, and ultimately turned both left and the right against the liberal idealism of the Republic. On the 11th of April 1936, the treaty would have needed to be renewed again for it to remain in power. It was not. While Germany had been offering to renew it, fear of massive economic distrust, we remained steadfast. The Russian interest rate had soared overnight, but we would also be able to trigger tariffs and additional taxes against businesses from Middle Europa, and have gained the legal basis to start demobilizing the German economic shackles across Russia. We do need to also start putting some points against Germany here. They're still at 7 points, which, I mean, is quite high. Military mission to China. Honestly, that does not seem that important. Invite Georgia, invite Armenia. 40 political power. Actually, that would be quite nice. Okay, so let's make some maneuvers into the Caucasus. And our planes now should have arrived. You do see some German troops in the south, but I'm honestly not like 100% concerned, honestly, that they're there. Raise a tariff wall. Okay. An active influence not ongoing. The stability loss is equal to German economic influence multiplied negative 14%. My God. Let's save up a little bit more than that, okay? I think that seems probably worthwhile. I mean, a German division, he is quite powerful. There's no denying that. The preachings of Ali Khayv. Controversy has captured headline in the Dagestani city of Petrovisk. Ali Khayv, a notable Islamic jurist and Sharia scholar, has broken his long-standing silence on political issues. In a sermon for his assembled students, Ali Khayv decried the creeping autocracy of Serkov's regime, demanding the Russians of all nations and creed rise up to defend the freedoms of the February Revolution. With the region already abuzz over the Manifesto of Resistance and anti-Slavic pamphlets, Ali Khayv's inflammatory words have further stoked tensions. Alak, from the ancient city of Gazikumuk, Ali Khayv has spent most of his 58 years committed to the cause of democracy and education. Ali Khayv cooperated with various emphatical Caucasian governments during the Civil War, most controversially helping the Bolshevik-aligned forces by condemning the pro-white Nazimut Goyazi's claim to the title of Dagestani Imam. The end of the Civil War saw Ali Khayv reconcile neither with the white-aligned Gagasakis under General Bektarovsky, nor with Gair Benetov's exiled Medivs in Georgia. He instead returned to his original passions of education reforms and ethnography, and the Russian government has largely content to leave him alone. Ali Khayv's change of heart has outraged local secular and religious authorities, who see Khayv's latest sermon as a betrayal of the clemency they have granted him. Some demand his immediate arrest, while others urge caution. Students of many Dagestani Islamic schools, the madras, have walked out of classes with the blessing of their teacher to demonstrate in support of Ali Khayv. A soft touch here may embolden similar disobedience, but a harsh response could easily cause tension to boil over. Matt, I don't want to lose stability, so we'll be a little bit harsh. I don't like these German divisions down here. See if we can put like a little bit more pressure. 200 versus 159. I mean, I'm not worried about Spain breaking through. Actually, you know what? Delete this army. Move our troops up north. This area looks significantly weaker. Maybe we're going to like break our way into Madrid. It's an idea. I don't know how well it'll succeed, but it is an idea that I do have. Okay, we have 93. 5% stability. 90 days. More support for the party. Let's nationalize the oil field here. I think that seems worthwhile. Invite Armenia. I can't invite Georgia yet, because the Ottomans have not won their war. But I'll invite Armenia for 10 points. Wait, can I send more volunteers to CNT too? Because I've done... I can't because I took that one decision. So let's send these two divisions also over to Spain. International propaganda. Weekly war support. Effects on 87 political power. Actually, that's kind of crazy. 100% spend our points doing this. I will definitely take that. And the death of the Patriarch. Thousands gathered to mourn. Thousands gathered to follow Patriarch Antony's funeral services in Moscow. He has been a popular among the faithful, uncompromising in faith, and wise beyond his years. Here was a man who had always prayed for the health of the Romanovs to this day. These stances have made him many enemies over the years, and it must be said that his death was welcomed with relief by the Kremlin, as the late Patriarch had been a fervent opponent of Savinkov. The local council of the church has gathered in Moscow to elect followers of the patriarchic throne. While officially it is purely a matter for the faithful to choose a new patriarch of all of Russia, the SZRS has been lobbying to support a faction of Metropolitan Sergei of Nizhny Novgorod. Sergei and his supporters have been amicable to Savinkov's policies and willing to drop the overt monarchism that was so dear to the late patriarch. Sergei is opposed to the Metropolitan of Petrograd, Yosif, who remains suspicious of the state's attempts to control the church. He is more moderate and conciliatory than Antony was, and many of his followers have been censored or imprisoned for opposing Savinkov. Predictably, the council caved into the pressure from the authorities and elected Metropolitan Sergei as the new patriarch of Belarus. In his first sermon, Sergei declared the importance of cooperation between the church and the authorities. An overt political monarchism was not befitting of a priest. I appreciate the extra stability. And for our final point, pressure you guys. I mean, I want to pressure you. There's so many things I need to do. The Seneca fighters, honestly, I'm not too concerned with. National populism support. Oh, yeah. Oh, and 50,000 more workers. And 50 more political power. 100% we'll take that one next. But I'll say it at least right now, it's going to be a good time for us to end this episode. So if you enjoyed it, thumbs up. Not doing some down. You want to see more, subscribe, and goodbye.